Hot 91, the soul of VA. I'm Alana Mercedes, and since it's 12 o'clock on a Wednesday, you already know what time it is. It is Club Creative Hour, and today we're sitting down with a DJ whose sound is bold and dynamic. Coming straight out of Virginia Beach, Vega has been transforming the DJ scene with what can only be considered as his signature energy, blending genres and vibes in a way that connects with audiences of all types. Now, from the local clubs to larger stages, he's building a name for himself and for the 757 music scene. So today, of course, we're diving into the heart of his craft, how he's carved out his place in the scene, and more. So, DJ Vega, we're so happy to have you here today.
Oh, thank you for having me. That was such an amazing introduction.
That's what everybody says.
No, that was amazing. I thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Can I get an audio clip of just that? That was
Absolutely,
amazing.
You can. I want you to mix it into something.
No, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Well, Vega, you very recently reached the milestone of 1 million views. Of course, on your DJ set you did with Social Supply on YouTube, one of their top 3 most popular sets in just over 6 months, which is insane. So how did you feel when you first saw those 6 zeros behind that one? That had to be a crazy feeling.
It definitely was something that we had anticipated, that I was looking forward to, but actually seeing the number there is, you can't really replicate that feeling. There's people can get 1 million views on TikTok or a reel or something different because that's fast-paced content, but to have somebody's attention span for an hour and 15 minutes, you know what I mean? And it'd be 1 million people that you had, it's insane.
That's actually a really good point. I never thought of it like that.
Yeah, no, short form content is what takes over right now. So to have something that long that people didn't click out of or get bored of and really stayed and watched, and to see comments of people saying they even revisited it or watched it multiple times, it's nothing short of breathtaking. It's amazing. It's seriously amazing.
It's really cool to have your name on, and especially being something that you've worked so hard, I think, to get towards, because you haven't been DJing that long, right?
10 years is kind of...
Okay, 10 years actually is a long time. I don't know why I was stuck with 5 in my head.
10 years is a little bit of a long time, but no, for sure.
Well, a concept that I find really cool, actually, when it comes to Social Supply sets, is that you can't even see the crowd behind you. So it's kind of unless you turn around. But it's partially you're forced to rely on the vibes in the room and kind of just the energy around you. Yeah. Does that ever make you feel a little nervous?
I trust in myself. We had talked before, and we were talking about just selecting these songs and what you play. I like to create a feeling for the people, so I feel that the music should be able to speak volumes enough to where they don't have to see you or anything like that. And when I watch these videos, sometimes I don't look at myself. I'll look around at the crowd. And I'm like, wow, this is so cool. Seeing different people's reactions, and sometimes somebody might like the last song and might not like the next one, but the next person might like that one, and that's what I like about the diversity of the crowd. So.
Yes, so it's a good balance no matter what you play. That's good.
Of course.
Now, for those who haven't had the opportunity to listen to a Vega set, because it is a lot of diversity in it, how would you describe your sound?
So in the DJ community, it's technically called open format, which means you don't really have a style that you play with. You play all different types of things, but I would like to say versatile. I would say you're not going to know what to expect. I do like to play a lot of, 90s stuff, R&B, heavy Neptunes production, stuff like that I grew up on. But I also like to bring in a lot of the new, and more recently, some of the older stuff. So I'm Hispanic on half of my side, so I've been playing a lot more of that stuff. Just trying to tap in on all realms of sound to where I can bring and make everybody feel inclusive. So I
feel that, and that's the thing about it. You really speak to every part of your audience, I think. And I think it's good, for sure. I mean, I've experienced it myself, and like I said, you never fail to turn the crowd up.
I was watching our video, the last video we ran at Moxie, and you're in the back, and you're like, "Go Vega!" I'm like, "Oh, that helps out so much when I'm playing," because I was playing a song and I turned around. You were like, "Yeah," and I was like, "Yo, thank you a lot."
You got it. Keep going.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yes, of course. You do a great job at your craft. Now, again, 10 years ago is a long time.
Yeah.
But for some reason, in the span of life, it doesn't seem it's not the majority of your life.
Small,
you know what I mean? Definitely. So what inspired you to get into DJing then?
So my uncle is the biggest inspiration to me. He is an amazing DJ. He's had so many accolades and accomplishments. He was asked to be DMX's DJ and a bunch of crazy things like that. But his sound and seeing that the stuff that we like to play or some of those B-sides that we like to hear, you can play that out and it can be received well. And seeing my uncle do both of those really pushed me to want to navigate into that realm of things. I grew up playing percussion, so I was in band.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Life.
Cool.
Yeah, so first chair snare drum, holla at your boy. But no, I was in band forever, so I always loved drums and percussion and all that. And getting out of school, I just always loved music. I was always on the aux chord and stuff like that. So I just want to take it to that next step. And then I've been blessed with so many amazing opportunities. So
for sure.
Yeah, no.
And for those who don't know, you just said like my uncle, like it's so casually, but who is your uncle?
My uncle, Disco Dave. Shout out to him. If you don't know, he's your favorite DJ already. If you don't already know, he's the best. Go check him out on YouTube, Instagram, and all of that. He's the best.
I had to do my research because it's a name I kept hearing, but I wasn't super familiar. I just low-key got into this, so it's like...
No, of course.
But
like submerged into it and like learning all that. You're like, oh, whoa.
Like that's who that is. That's amazing. Did you ever feel any kind of... pressure growing up underneath somebody like well, I'm not even gonna say underneath, but with somebody like Disco Dave, like what did you feel?
I really kind of not even put it on like a pedestal almost, but it's just like that's somebody I look up to, so I don't look at it like that. He's never put pressure on me. Anytime that I've DJed to this day, we're actually gonna have our first set together.
What?
Yeah.
Is this exclusive?
Yeah. This
is the first time
I'm, like, talking about
That's
it.
amazing.
Yeah, so we're gonna have exclusive Hot 91 drop, but our first set is gonna be, I want to say, in May, so I'm super excited about that. Yeah, I've been practicing like crazy for it, but there's never been any pressure. He's never been like, yo, your sound kind of sounds like this, it's this or whatever. He let me craft my own lane, and once things really got to a point of where like I'm being recognized in these places, he's able to chime in now and be like, yeah, see, like I didn't have to teach you anything. Like it's just more of embracing now, which is so nice. Yeah, it's so nice. And that's what I try to do with some of my younger homies that are coming up DJing or whatever. I try to like not involve myself too much on their journey, but when they need it or they're looking for that embrace of like a hug or anything, give them that accomplishment and that high five, because it does make them feel appreciated and
that is so cool. That's how people come into their own individual sound.
Definitely.
I think, with just like support and encouragement, allowing them to like form how they want to form.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's what happened to you, so that's really cool. So would you say more like then that's a blueprint for you? Not so much pressure, but a blueprint. No, I
agree.
Like,
yeah, okay, so I can say yes in a sense of what I know sonically, what I want to do, you know, and the vibe that I want to give off, the respect that you just gave him, and you haven't even met him, and you're like, yeah, I did my research. I'm like, yeah, that's one of those guys. Like, that is what's important to me. Like, it's not really about, oh, you got booked for this many gigs or anything, but like the respect factor, like you can't pay for that. You know what I mean? So like
Absolutely.
The fact that my uncles had that forever, no matter where I go or like who I see or talk to, if I just like drop that in there, they're like, that's your uncle?
Yeah.
I'm like, that's the blueprint that I look after. Nothing else though. Anything else, like we have our own unique sounds, you know, like I'll listen to him play and I'm always like amazed. I posted a story when I went to go watch his set at Only You, and I was just like, I'll forever be like learning. Like I'll be playing catch up for the rest of my life. Like I'll never surpass you just because like I look up to you in a way that's beyond a skill set. It's just like you are that. You know what I mean? So,
yeah, but that's a great way to be.
Yeah.
It's like you aim. What did they say? Shoot for the moon, and you'll land in the stars.
Yeah.
Something like that. But it's kind of like you're gonna land in greatness regardless.
I'm
because
like
of that.
right there. Like
yeah.
Anybody that I talk to about that, they're like, oh, that makes so much sense. Why? I'm like, it's not even because of that. It's just because of like his grace that he's provided for this craft. I've been able to like apply to myself and know that I can just have fun with this. Like, you're not supposed to treat this anything you do too seriously. You know what I mean? I've noticed that like he does this on his own leisure when he wants to, when it feels right to him. He doesn't push anything. He's not crafting anything for anybody else. He just does it because it's what he likes. So that's what I try to keep to myself.
Yes.
As far as a blueprint.
That's the best way to be, for sure. Ladies and gents, we have DJ Vega in the building for Club Creative Hour on Hot 91, the soul of VA. Hot 91, the soul of VA. I'm Alana Mercedes, and for Club Creative Hour today, we are welcoming DJ Vega in the building with us. Now, Vega, switching gears a little bit. Actually, no, before that. Most flyers I noticed, like of recurring events in the 757 right now, staple events, now have Vega on the lineup. So when did you start to be recognized as this kind of like necessary piece of a lot of events here, like this necessary figure in the Virginia music scene?
So first and foremost, I will shout out Traptastic, you know, Rodney, Sean, my guys. That's how I originally started doing all this. 2015, that's when I started DJing. They gave me my first shot. That was the first place I DJed. Amazing. But now I've just noticed, you know, with anything that you do, there's key ingredients. When you're making a cake, when you're doing anything, there's key ingredients that go into it. And fortunately, I've put myself in a position that, you know, they're like, okay, this guy has a good buzz right now. He can, you know, fill the shoes, and, you know, like, we do like him. So it's like a win-win-win all around. So like, I try to hold myself to a standard that like I don't want to provide something that feels the same to my peers because they're going to so many different events and seeing me at so many different places. I don't ever want them to feel like, yo, I could just like go here and hear the same thing. So that is one of the tricky things, but I do think that I have a mutual respect amongst these people and these event curators that are putting these things on to know, like, I'm not going to give you something that's just, you know, kind of halved or like not my whole or anything like that. I'm going to try to provide a new experience every single time. So I think that's why, which I would hope, I'm being put on these things, you know what I mean? Which is really nice, the respect factor being there. And even still in some of those things, though, on the other side of that, there's some people that will try to reach out to me, you know, as like kind of like a cheat code, like, oh, we're starting out doing this, like we're gonna hit you up and have you like do this, and I'm like,
like you don't want to do the beginner things.
Yeah,
so not
that. Necessarily that, but just in a sense of like these people that put me on these events consistently, like I've opened up for them before in the past, and they know now, like, okay, you could fill that closing spot all the time now, but so you're having an event and you're like, yeah, I just want to book like the hottest or the coolest people like right now. I'm just like, no, you have to find your own sound organically and let those people fill those spots out. You know what I mean? I think that's where I'm at with that. But
that totally makes sense. And shout out to Traptastic. They throw some amazing events. I will say that.
I love them.
And I know that it's a big deal apparently in the DJ community to be put as the last person of the night, like the last hour or something like that, and you time and time again are the last person.
No, it's something I don't take lightly. It's definitely an honor nonetheless. I always I've talked about it before, but I always have to meditate before my stuff. I always pray. I'm always extremely thankful and grateful. All of this can be taken away from me at any time, so I always cherish these times that I have to like close out. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I'm like, can I go in the beginning? Like I want to enjoy the rest of the party. Like I want to see what it's like to like be at the end. Like I want to be like, woo! But you know, for the most part, you know, it is something that I take with tremendous gratitude. You know, like they could choose anybody. I'm blessed to be around so many amazing DJs. I can name 20 right now off the top of my head of my own friends that are amazing. So to have that and they continuously choose me, it's really nice.
That's so good to have that kind of heart posture of being kind of humble to where you're like, it could be anybody, but it's me.
Yeah,
you know? So,
of course.
Yeah, that's not something to be taken lightly for sure. And switching gears a bit, kind of, but not really. Obviously, mental health is a really big thing here. It's something I'm a huge advocate for. Possibly my favorite thing here. So being a person with such a forward-facing craft, I don't think many people would even think about the fact that you, or a lot of creatives in general, actually might struggle with something like anxiety. And it's something you've spoken a little bit about before in the past. So how are you, number one, able to manage being anxious or just having anxiety in general with such a forward-facing craft where you are constantly surrounded by people and sometimes are even like having to read people? It's like you're almost like having to seek validation and stuff. Like, how does that coincide with anxiety?
Yeah, definitely. And thank you for asking that. It's so important to talk about that stuff. That's something that I promised myself, like with the platform that I'm creating for myself and this following and these messages I get, I promised myself this is something that I would like divulge more into, because I feel like not enough people talk about it or are scared to talk about it. But like anxiety is we all deal with it, no matter who you are. If you're the toughest guy, the most scared person, whatever, we all deal with it day to day. But like having a craft in a sense puts you in a different perspective because you're performing for these people. Like I can't afford to like be scared, you know what I mean? So then now I'm dealing with, okay, you shouldn't be anxious right now, but like you have to be serious right now because you're performing for all these people. But I noticed when I do these meditations, that's one of the biggest things. I do a guided meditation before everything, breathing exercises, and also remembering that like this is supposed to be fun to you. Always remember that like life is supposed to be fun. You're never supposed to take anything too serious. So when I remove myself from that bubble and I breathe and take a step back and I remind myself to have fun, then I'm able to kind of like clear my head a little bit and look out into the crowd. Thankfully, I have a great support system of friends and people that go to all these events. So sometimes I can see a familiar face. You've been a familiar face sometimes, and I can like look and be like, okay, like I'm okay, like I'm good. Like it'll kind of like bring me back to earth.
Yes,
it
like grounds you.
Yeah, definitely. So it's so important to find what helps you and what grounds you. And I think my thing is just familiar faces and remembering to have fun throughout, you know, my process of doing this.
Well, is that something that you've had to like learn along the way? Is it something that ever, like the anxiety, is it something that ever made you question whether or not you were like being a good DJ or, you know, 100%. Able to do this craft the way that you are now?
100%. I have had nights coming up. I've been DJing for 10 years, so I've had nights before where you know, I'm DJing places now where it's like 150 people, 200, it's packed, you know, wall to wall. Like I can't breathe in there. And I've also done events in the past where it's not that many people. And I'm trying, it's way easier. It sounds insane. Any DJ can attest. It's way easier to move 100 people than it is to move 10 people. It's way easier because
really
people move in masses. So like if you think about it like little bugs shaking, right? Like 10 bugs separated from each other aren't going to feel the shake of each other, but 100 people by each other are going to like move because they're all right near each other. You know what I mean? So it's like my perspective.
I was going to say that's a metaphor I never would have thought of.
Yeah. So it's like that's the way I look at it. So it's like I just feel more confident when I have more people in front of me. When I have that, it's like that's where I learn to like control my anxiety. Like, hey, just know that like even though these 10 people aren't jumping up crazy, they're feeling you. It's like okay, you can breathe. So like through those processes I learned to control the big stuff, and that's way easier than the small stuff. So
I'm not gonna lie, I actually totally agree with you, because if I were to be put in front of a crowd of 200 people to speak, it'd be nothing,
because you're not singling in.
Yeah, it's like
just like you know, you learn to like look above their head, you know, and all that stuff. But like, oh, I have 6 people.
Like now I'm scared.
You're like you're saying something kind of risky and it didn't hit, and then like you're just like, all right, yeah.
So I know you said that you do take time to do guided meditations before you go on to what you call DJing, performing, I guess, before you go on to perform. So what kind of role does, I guess, solitude play in you remaining level-headed with your craft? Like how important is that to you maintaining your peace and again an environment that kind of requires so much of you to give? You
have to truly like find yourself and be at peace with any craft you do, but with something like this where you are providing experience like music. And this is not to sound like cliche, but like music has like saved my life as well as like a lot of other people's, you know what I mean? There's so many times where I've been in like a dark place or whatever, and like a song will just come on the radio that I don't even listen to. I just happen to turn the radio on in my car and be like, whoa, like it's so important to feel grounded and have solitude within yourself to be able to select those right songs for those moments when you're providing that for other people, because you never know that like I DJ this Saturday and I could play something that night that was this person's favorite song with their friend that just passed away, and it could have just like saved them that night. Like that's why this is like so important, and that's why it's so important to be in tune with myself so that this can be a vessel to like segue into helping other people too, the same way that like music has helped me, you know what I mean?
Wow. Yeah. I totally agree with you. I think music is one of the most powerful tools of healing.
Not the most.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So would you say like, because obviously we all go through things behind closed doors, but we still have to show up, especially in spaces like this. Yeah. Would you say that music has been like a form of, I guess what you can say, an outlet or healing 100%. To you when you've been going through things like that? Like how have you been able to use it to, I don't know, even find yourself within your own identity?
So there's certain songs even that like I can't hear because of like the feeling that it entails. So like, I'll give an example. So like I grew up with like a single mom. I love my mom to death. Mama, I love you. But Hey Mama by Kanye West, I can't listen to that song unless it's like on Mother's Day. I'll listen to it one time in the beginning of the day. I'll like cry, I'll pray, I'll be like thankful for my mom. And at that I won't listen to it. I'm trying not to like tear up talking about it. But like I love that song. Like I love that song. And there's other songs like The Thrill by like Wiz Khalifa and Empire of the Sun. That's like an old song. It just makes me feel like happy. It reminds me of like when I was young and like high school. There's certain songs that like entail those feelings. So that's why it's so important that I think that the music is what carries those feelings. You know what I mean? Like I had a whole idea for like a movie based on that, where like a person they teleport through like music because it transcends them to like that feeling. Somebody's gonna take my idea now.
I was about to say I would have held that one.
No, it's cool. It's cool. If that idea is meant to be put on the world for somebody to take it, it's okay. But I just think that music unifies so much of the feelings and the ideas around us, and it's so important to be in tune with that to be able to navigate who you really are as yourself. Because I'll listen to jazz sometimes, or I really like classical music. I really like piano, like classical music.
I grew up playing violin, and so I'm already hip.
Love it. I'll just be like, wow, this sounds amazing. Like I feel so like
it just invokes a feeling that you can't really,
of course,
feel with other things. I guess it's
the
like
color white, like purity. Like I'm just like, wow, this sounds so nice. And there's some days where you want to hear like crazy loud like drums. There's sometimes you want to hear like trap. There's sometimes you want to hear R&B. It's so important, and I think music is the tool that changes everything for all of us, for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. We still have Vega in the building here on Club Creative on Hot 91, the soul of VA. Hot 91, the soul of VA. I'm Alana Mercedes for Club Creative Hour. Today, again, we're joined by DJ Vega. Now, Vega, you've recently made some super cool announcements about your future performances. So please let the crowd know what's in store for Vega.
So hopefully April 25th, that should be another one, but I'll be DJing in New York April 25th, June 27th. Rodney, I'm sorry, I'm probably getting all these dates wrong. June 27th, I'm DJing Cafe Urzuli in Brooklyn, New York, among some really cool guests. I'll be in Rhode Island May 23rd, which is amazing. I'll be in Miami May 9th through the 11th.
Oh, shoot!
I can't disclose my Bangkok date, but it's in August, which is super cool. Where else? I got invited to be on a tour, but it didn't get lined up. But I was supposed to be there this past weekend in LA and San Diego. That was going to be super cool. But everything happens for a reason, no matter what. I always am thankful for these opportunities, even these inquiries. If they don't work out, I'm like, this is so nice to know. Like, I'll freak out in my room. Like, well, they reached out to me. I'm like, you didn't even get booked. Like,
it doesn't matter. That's not the point.
Like,
they thought of me.
They thought of me. Like, that is cool. Just like we were saying, like, you can choose anybody, and you chose me, and that means more to me than anything. And that's what's been kind of like my fuel, is like, you're on their radar. These people that you look into a sense of like, man, like, I can do that. You really can, because you're on the same platform and you're getting the same reach as them. You really can do this. So
wow,
no,
that's amazing. So real. That is so real. So you had like technically a whole East Coast kind of tour lined up.
No, there's some other stuff too. I just like, they have to be like lined up. There was a couple other ones that got lined up, but they got messed up along the way, but it's okay. Like I said, everything else for a reason.
Yes.
And if everything goes the way it's supposed to, it is going to be a full little like tour thing. So
that's so exciting. So you have a jam-packed summer.
Yeah, no, I'm super excited. It's more than a blessing, seriously.
Absolutely. Have you had a chance to visit other people's kind of like music or creative scenes or other states?
No, so I have, like, New York is like second home to me, so I've been up there a lot and seen a lot of cool things that do there up there. But not fully divulged. Like, I've wanted to spend, like a month in New York and just like really divulge into like going to their events stuff, because it's so different. Like, the style in New York of DJing in some senses is like, they don't, like here I can kind of play a full song and almost get to the second chorus and people are just still singing. Like, they want the next song up there. Like, they're not playing that. Like, they want it. They're like, keep going. They're like, mix the next one in, buddy. Like, what are you doing? So, that's another thing that I have try to take upon myself, is to make sure my sound is universal to where anywhere I go, it can be respected and perceived the way that I think it is. That's why when I get these out of town bookings, these people that reach out to me, there are people who are like, this is from Costa Rica, or this is from Brazil, this is from Japan, this is from like here. Like, I have had some of the craziest walks of earth like message me, and it is the craziest
That's
feeling.
insane.
I think the coolest thing, no matter what, I always do it for like my mom. I was like, Mama, this one's for you. But it's so cool, because I'm like, man, my mom really be like on her little Instagram, she's like, look at my son, he got recognized here, here. Like, it is the coolest thing. I think that's like the coolest flex of like your family or your people around you can be proud of you. Like, all your friends are having yes man, and like all these people around you being like, yeah man, you're killing it. Ain't none of that compared to like your family really being proud of you. Like, I can like look in the mirror and be like, yo, my mom's like proud of me.
I totally agree on that mom part. When my mom tells me I'm doing a good job, then I really believe it. I'm like, okay.
My mom's like, yeah, you're killing it. Then I'm like, all right. The same thing with like my uncle. You know what I mean? It's like some of those things mean so much more than these people. So
I absolutely agree with you on that one for sure. Now, obviously the best place, and I actually stole this from Rod C from Blue Being Studios, but he said the best place to be stamped at is at home.
Of course.
And I see that you're obviously being stamped here. Yeah. I think there is something unique about the Virginia creative scene, but as a person who's been like fully submerged in it for a while now, because like I said, I'm kind of new out here. I'm from Virginia, but I'm still kind of new out here. How would you say our scene is unique or different? Like, what parts of it stand out to you as a creative?
Man, like everything. I am so proud to like, I remember growing up, Chad Hugo is a family friend. That's one of my uncle's really, really good friends. So that's like family to us. So growing up, seeing a lot of the Neptune's production and being like up close to that stuff, seeing Pharrell very young on and all this stuff with like my uncle and my family. And I would grow up sometimes and be like, man, California sounds so cool, or Miami sounds so cool. And I realized that I was born in the right place. Like, I really was born in the right place. And it took me not too long. It was probably I was like 10 years old and seeing all this stuff, golden era of like Pharrell and all this, to be like, no, I'm where I need to be. Everybody wants to be from here. If you go out anywhere else and you talk to all these people, they're like, you're from Virginia? Like, yo, that's crazy.
That's
like,
always been a crazy reaction to me because I'm like, yeah,
you're from
Virginia.
I'm like, yeah, I'm from Virginia. I'm like, hey, how y'all doing? They're like, y'all. You know what I mean? So it's definitely insane. But I would say our style, from the way we dress, the way we talk, our music selection, the way, like anything, we are just all a melting pot of things that are cool. And I have friends that were born in the Bronx or born in Brooklyn or born in Miami or born in all these different places, and they ended up living here. And they bring their flavor, and it just makes all this seem so much bigger than anything else. And I think that's what makes us stand out on this platform. And with these DJs, like I will put, and I'll say this again, I'll put Virginia DJs up against anybody. I'll put them up against anybody.
What? For real? You know what? I agree with you.
Let me assort my my starting 5 Avengers. I'll put our 5 against any other state's 5. I mean that, humbly speaking.
What's your 5? Oh, you can't say it? We don't want to start anything.
I don't want to start anything. But all my friends know I love them. If I get a 10, all my boys will be up there. And
yes,
girls,
of course.
Will be up there. But I do think that everything that we have here is just organic, and nobody here is really, besides the obvious, but like nobody here is trying to be anybody else in what they are. And I think that's why we all stand out. You can be yourself here and still make it out and be good and shine and do your own thing. So I think that's why we stand out, seriously, because it's not just one style. You go to like Chicago, and there's no shade anywhere. You know, Chicago.
It's just we know home.
Specific types of people. You know, there's very, but it's like here, it's like you can't really get a specific type of person.
That's so true.
Like,
that is so true.
I hate to say that, but you know, there is something in the water. You know what I mean? Like
oh
somebody,
my god.
no, like somebody said that, and they were like, "What is it?" And I was like, "I guess there is something in the water." And they're like, "Boo!"
Oh my god. But it's true. The cliches are a cliche for a reason.
No,
okay.
100%.
You said that you would love to have spend a month in New York if you could. Like, have you ever considered living anywhere else? Would you want to?
Yeah, so not randomly, but my end game, somebody asked me, it's like, where do you see yourself living down the line? And that's Japan. I want to seek out everything that I feel like this life has for me within the next couple of years, and then like fall off the face of earth and just live in Japan.
I feel that.
There's nothing wrong with that. Provide peace for all and like fulfill all this stuff and just like live in Japan. But no, like I've thought about New York. Definitely. Philly has a good place in my heart. I got a lot of homies up there. I've heard Miami is amazing, but like there's really no place like home. Like
I totally agree with that. Yeah.
Where I'm at right now in my life, like I'm just like, man, like I've traveled to so many different places, and I'm like, I always will just like miss home. Like there's no place
it's true, and that's another cliche that's a cliche. Definitely. Because it's true. There truly is no place like home, especially when you're actually involved with where you're from.
I would say that's the separation that people don't feel sometimes, is they're like, oh, I could go somewhere else. I'm like, if you really are from here and felt that embrace or that hug from like this area, then you're like, nah, I don't want to go anywhere else. So.
And Vega, lastly, what kind of legacy, especially being that you are already starting, I say only 10 years in because you're so young, but like, what kind of legacy is it that you want to leave on Virginia? Not only like stylistically, like, okay, with your music, but like personally, what is it that you're hoping your legacy is here at home?
I want everybody to feel that the things that I did weren't a representation not only of just like myself, but of the people around me. So like, like his sound, his personality, everything, like he was very about the people around him and made sure that everybody felt inclusive. Not like, I've met so many different people that have used the people around them as like stepping stones and left them behind. It's like, no, like I still have friends from like 20 years ago that are still around me that I want to be at like these shows. Like it's so much of this that I think with a legacy that's important to carry, that you have to stay true to yourself. So that's my biggest thing through this, is just like, I just want to make sure through all this, like I don't switch for nothing. Like I've been hit up about so many different gigs, and they're like, I'll pay whatever your rate is, and I'm like, it's not about the money. Like I don't want to ever compromise nothing about like money. It's never about that. If it doesn't feel like the integrity of the event or what it is applies to me, then I don't want to compromise that. And if I can stay true to that through my career, then I'll be okay. You know what I mean? Like I'm not chasing after anything other than buy my mama her house, you know what I'm saying, and getting this music out and doing this the right way.
I feel that, you know, and that's the most important thing you can do, I think, just being authentically yourself, because that's how you're going to attract the right opportunities, the right people. Like that's how you find your way. You have to be yourself through all of that, and I think you're doing a good job with that.
Thank you.
You know, it's showing up very well on you.
Thank you.
Of course. And Vega, where can everybody find you? Where can we listen to your music? Maybe hit you up on Instagram. What's all that?
So you can find me on Instagram. It's going to be my name, SBSTNVGA. That's my Instagram. You can find me. I have a YouTube account now, Sebastian X Vega. I hit like 150 subscribers up there, which is crazy.
Really?
Yeah.
It's Sebastian X Vega?
Yeah, Sebastian X Vega.
Okay.
Let me see where else. I think that's pretty much it. Just Instagram and what's it called? That I want you guys to see.
Okay, that's fine.
The
rest don't even worry about it.
You don't need to look me up anywhere else. But I am going to start streaming soon, so y'all can follow me on Twitch, Sebastian X Vega too. So.
All right, that's a bet. That's exciting. Well, Vega, it has been an absolute pleasure having you on finally. I feel like this conversation has definitely inspired some people to, if anything, just pursue everything to the best of your ability, as well as just be yourself. So thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you so much for having me, Alana.
Of course. Absolutely. Look, ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. Have your mental health moment with Mercedes coming up next on Hot 91, The Soul of VA.